The reason I chose this particular fan here off of eBay was because it came with this harness here that was pretty much ready to go, so that you can just snip her in half here, and you got one end attached to your fan power and then possibly whatever else you want to run, in our instance the probe. So now it was a quick attach. And then these fans actually, once you get the very corners cleaned up, they're quick attach. So it's just like boom.
Alright, here's all the things that we're going to be using for this build today. We got some speaker wire here, 10 and 12 gauge. They'll both work good for what we're trying to do. We got our grate that we got to put on the fan that we get from China. We got a $20 thermometer that goes to -60 here from China. We need a switch for this build. We're going to need 2 wall warts, both preferably 12 volts. I think the only one that's critical is make sure that the thermometer is getting a nice 12 volts. The fan can take more, can take less. This is a soap container just from my local dollar store. Actually, these were 2 for $1. We're going to be using this for our DeGrasse Tyson hand controller, as it was dubbed long ago. Probably going to need some tape. We need this white tape for this thing, electrical tape, snips of all different sorts here. I'm going to do a little bit of soldering. The digital display is going to fit on the inside of this one real nice as soon as I pull off these little plastic snaps on the side. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to cut this inner case down to size so everything lines up nicely. I'm also going to cut out our notch here for our cables that we're going to have. I got them marked out right now. Now we're going to mark out our switch hole so we can cut that out. Alright, everything's all cut out, so now we can put it together and see if it works. And that's pretty much what it's going to look like when it's done. So these digital thermometers I got, They also came from Shanghai. I believe they are about $20 American. And they're really straightforward. They got an alarm on them for when they go below their maximum setting. In this case, I believe these are the -60 thermometers, so they're going to be good enough for what we're using them for. They're relatively cheap, so let's get right at it. These are going to be our electrical, and this one is our probe. Straightforward, just a little tiny cathode on the end of this thing. So what we got to do is, the way we're setting it up, we're going to have to cut that probe wire off. Leave ourselves lots of room to work with here. We may as well just get these cleaned up right now. Get them ready to go. One, two. Yes, all of our wires are going to need to be exposed for this. Unless we got a jack inside this thermometer, but we don't, so chop away. Get them all ready. Get them all ready. Doing work. Doing work. Doing work. Let's blow some solder. So we got these all done up here. I soldered them up, taped them up, and they are ready to go. So you can see how on this end, one is the fan and the other is the probe cable. And then they're both going to be heading back through these cables that we pre-cut earlier to the DeGrasse Tyson hand controller. So let's tape up this fan. Just tape them together. They are exactly the same size, the same diameter. Just make sure you got a good seal on it. Make sure it's all sticking good. And that piece is ready to go. Now I'm going to drill some holes for zip ties and all these cables here. So just feel around in each little notch here.
So there's the fan with the probe, two cables going up to the harness right there. And that attaches to those two cables we pre-cut earlier on that run from the fan and the probe all the way to our controller. And you can see that they're zip tied in along the sides where those holes we just drilled. And then the two power cables, the wall warts, we tap those in here right at the back so that it's close to the fog machine, and we can also plug the fog machine to number 3 here. So you got the 1, 2, 3 ready to go. Let's test her out. Probe's working good. Just like that. Now some people still ask, why do you need to have a fan in there? Well, a couple of reasons. You turbocharge the ice or whatever it is you have in there. You cycle it. When it's hot, for example, you're going to turn the fan off. Let the core temperature drop a little bit. You're going to turn the fan on again to enhance the cooling temporarily, so to speak, or turbocharge it. And so you do two things there. But also, when you really load it up with ice, you need that fan to force the air out of the fog chiller. And from past experiences, anytime that you try to push it, you have way more leaks everywhere and just way more hassle. When you pull the fog, it seems to be far superior. Plus it just looks way cooler having the fan on the output that lights up your fog. And of course, the DeGrasse Tyson hand controller. And then I got our relay gizmo set up here and bypassed the fog machine thing here. So this line right here is coming from one of our trigger lines, one of our trip lines, okay? And when that line's tripped, this outlet and cord are gonna supply power. So now we got hooked up to that a bunch of stuff, but in this particular instance we have a relay where the 12 volts from this being triggered trips this relay. The relay opens the circuit on the fog machine, and as I simulate tripping the line right here, you can see that we have fog. It's activated the fog machine. In the next few videos I'm going to be running a much larger fog machine. As you can see here, we got the Foghorn 1200 Micro DJ, one of the big boys. I might dabble with these pieces here again because they do save a little bit of space on the inside and still give pretty good ice to aluminum contact. But I'm not entirely sure that the extra bag or two that you can fit in there with these is any better than just having the straight aluminum on the inside anyways. But I'm still trying to see if these things are worth anything. Yeah, jumping right into it. And one of the next models here, we got an AC job in the works. Gonna have that one coming real soon. We're gonna put that on both ends of it and see what we can do. So yeah, check it out. Make sure you're all up to par on the rest of it all my other fog chiller videos. Here, here, and here. Peace.